All right. I do these things, these little videos, because I got to get stuff off my chest. It's called the Sci-Fi Express Lane, and I am here to express myself sci-fi-ly. Is that a word? All right, science fictionally. All right. Either way, I got to say some smack. Anyway, I'm trying not to get personal on an experience that I went to or that I had with my comic book, Cyberpunk Streets. Now, I made a pledge to myself to not talk about anything during the promotional period for this campaign. So everything's got to run through Sci-Fi Streets, all right? And you got to endure it, but I'm going to make it savvy. I'm going to make it interesting. There's a lot to go through. I majored in marketing, so I'm going to give you my marketing best. That said, I think black people can be too conservative, and conservative to our own detriment in terms of creativity and I guess science fiction. Let me just make it like science fiction. You know, I remember when I did my first book, Thug Angel, Rebirth of a Gargoyle. And I had wings on the cover, right? Bat wings, gargoyle wings, you name it. I made the cover myself in Photoshop, and I'm much better now, but that was 14 years ago, so shut up, Jeff. Or 12 years ago, I did what I could do, you know what I'm saying? Even Photoshop is even different now. But anyway, I sent my bookmarkers with it was almost, I found an Afro stencil, and I put the wings behind it so it looked like it was an Afro gargoyle. And it was really cool. I may get somebody to illustrate that. But when I sent it to a black comic convention, they was like, nah, bro, you know, we can't give nothing out that's got thug in it. You know, we just don't do that. We can't promote that thug life and stuff like that. And I was like, damn, you know, when I thought about it, I didn't even think about putting thug in the title as, and actually the name of the book was called, when I was working title, when I was writing it was called Monster on Front Street. And that's still a decent title, but I like Thug Angel better, and that's why I chose it, and I stand behind it. Despite some people's misconceptions, it's not about hip-hop, it's not about thugging in that sense. It's a man on fire story that's very much like Blade meets Equalizer. And it's probably my most morally sound, solid character. He's amazing. He's a guy that I would like to be. He got his blackness in, you know, full perspective. Anyway, I started thinking about that experience, or that experience always sticks in my head. It's one of those experiences that you'll never forget. And so when I was talking to people about Cyberpunk Streets, the question came up again. Is this an all ages, book? And I said, well, not necessarily for little kids, but for teenagers and up, mature audiences, no doubt. And the robot is in a robot suit. She looked like C-3PO with breasts, right? It's chrome, and it is what it is, right? But people's like, probably thinking it looks naked. The title was The Future of Sex, but I took that out the title. There's 3 stories in it. Of course, one is called The Ass Doctor. Another one is called The Programmable Man, and another one is called The Banger Brothers. So The Ass Doctor is definitely red flaggish, right? So I understand that. I ain't stressing it, but it's like, I don't think I've never experienced that question with any of the white comic book world people, I have another comic book with called Amani the Killer. She's standing lean up against the wall with a shirt that says players with a red line through it. Then she has a baseball bat, and I think that's it. And then the other cover, she's got a severed pimp head. It says "I kill hip hop." Now, what do you call it? With the pimp head cover, I never printed that out. The comic book didn't go into the second issue until 2018. But in 2000 and in 2022, well, even before that, when I'll go roll back 2007, 2008. I was fresh off the promotion of my movie Gold Digger Killer, and I had gotten into a comic book horror film festival event down here in Miami with horror Left by Kill You, my first film. So I was like, yo, I have a comic book and I have a movie. Yo, maybe y'all can show the movie, maybe you can show the, and I help me sell the comic book, and I can do a talk. Because I'm like, yo, ain't too many people with a comic book and a movie and and a book, So I was like, come on, y'all, this is a lot of hard work here. I'm in all three genres. So he was like, all right, we'll show your movie. It's not going to necessarily put on a program. We're going to show the movie light. Now, the movie was unrated, but it was a rated R. There's no nudity in this, so I ain't killing myself like that, right? But I didn't do no nudity, and I have yet to do it. Although I want to do it, I want to try to do nudity. Gold Digger Killer doesn't have that in there. What else? So that was that. Then they said we can let you sell the comic book, but we gotta put you in a separate section. I was like, damn. Now I feel bootleg. So I was in the hallway on the hallway to the main room. So that already is a little bootleg, but there was other people out there, so I didn't feel too bootleg, right? But then I was off that hallway, and it made me feel real bootleg. However, later in the day, another dude came and he had like erotic comic book, pictures and stuff like that. So he was fully supposed to be in the adult section. But I was like, dude, I'm like Lady Death. I'm like, forgot what's the name of one of these other Vampirella. I'm not doing nothing. There's no sex. There's no extra wild stuff in there. You know what I'm saying? But it's amazing. You know what I'm saying? The world. So, I just wanted to kind of talk about that. I mean, I think those experiences are accurate. I think they limit the creators, because I know I don't want to be treated like that. I want to be able to promote my stuff to our people, you know what I'm saying? And for me, I don't think about it when I'm creating. So I'm a little different. But I know people do, because they don't want to be treated like that. So they don't want to be sectioned off. They don't want to have to sell their books in a separate section. None of that, So for me, I run into those experiences. And other people probably be like, yo, why write a book like that? Cyberpunk Streets has adult themes. Now, kind of the reason why I did it is because I did a comic book right before it called Fingernails, and Fingernails was for young people. And I was like, all right, let me see how that turns out. And it was supposed to come out a long time ago, so it ain't that big of a deal that I did it just now. but it was supposed to come out a long time ago. And I say that because I had a strategy to the comics that I was releasing, you know, and I wanted to do a young adult comic, and then I wanted to do an adult comic, or one that had curses in it. I hadn't cursed in any of my comic books for a while, probably since Mind and Killer. And that first issue, I don't even think I cursed then, you know. And now I'm reading like all these stories, and I just look at the comic book world. I'm just saying comic book world, because that's what I'm talking about. Not really talking about the sci-fi writing world, but that may be true with the sci-fi writer world. But when I'm looking at the comic book world, we write and create a very tight variety of comics and stories, and I don't think that's good. I'm looking now, and I'm like, dang, you know, I have the cyberpunk streets, you know, dang, what am I gonna do? Then I'm thinking, man, there's nothing like this, you know, really. So maybe I'll go down that lane and pioneer it. I always think sometimes pioneering stuff is a good look, you know, but sometimes you got to go where the rush is and where the noise is and where everybody's buying, because that's where the sales are. So I'm caught in between it, but I certainly would like to see wild black stories. Like I'm reading this comic book called Pop Stars something. I have it around here. It's in the car somewhere. I'm reading a Pop Stars comic, and it's stupid. You know what I'm saying? It's over the top, and I liked Bitterroot, but because Bitterroot was like over the top-ish, but it wasn't as over the top as Pop Stars. And I'm like, yo, we need to have some over the top stuff, you know. Bitch Planet, I bought a couple of copies of that, and it just seems wild. So I wonder, would black creators even try to create something like that, because they may be impacted by the backlash that they may feel they're going to get in their heads? Because I know I'm affected by it, you know. It may not affect me when I'm writing or thinking of the story per se, maybe a little bit, but I know it affects me in the marketing. So after it's all said and done, yeah, I am affected by it. So I don't know. I just wanted to throw these things out. This was a very unorganized sci-fi express lane, but I will say, you never know. Like, subscribe, hit me with some comments. Let me know if I'm going off the deep end, if I make sense, if I'm out of control. Let me know what you think. If you had similar experiences, you know, let me know. But yeah, I think that we need to be have a larger variety in the stories that we make. I'm not saying we have to have sex stories, but if the story has sex, then don't stop writing it. I know I got a story that has some sex. I got to figure out how to write it though. I got a bunch of stories that I haven't written, so that story isn't the only one. But anyway, thank you for tuning in and checking me out. Sci-Fi Express Lane. I'm out, baby.